This ain't nothing for the pack. Got 16 sitting in the lap. Whole squad all dressed in all black. Every single last one of them got my back. Hey, 20 of us, that's 20 goons in the ice cream whip, triple school. I got 3 strikes, ain't got to lose. When it's all on the line, what you gonna do? Come on, I'm highly favored. Don't wanna play me, no conversation. Ain't got time for no debating. It's for the taking, no hesitation. Don't try my patience. I'ma pour out 1 for the set, boy, till there's nothing left. On a run to the bread until we all got them baguettes. Hear them footsteps coming, cause we coming for the check. We ain't gon' run, no we don't hide. I can never switch, not a day in my life. Long as my dogs stay by my side. Yeah, we gon' ride till we die. We ain't gon' run, no we don't hide. I can never switch, not a day in my life. As long as my dogs stay by my side. Yeah, we gon' ride till we die.
Your mic's muted.
My mic is muted. Thank you for catching it. Bro, this mic sometimes, bro, it gets on me every time. But we are back with the next episode of the Neutral Zone podcast, joined by Austin and Cameron here once again. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's start off the pod. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Let's start off the podcast. You know, starting. Last week we asked about our weeks. Let's do. What was your guys' biggest? What was the biggest? Or actually, no. Let's do. What's the worst thing that happened to you guys this week? What was the bottom 3 worst thing that happened?
I had a pretty solid week. So, I mean, this really isn't that bad. I guess I could say the worst thing would have happened to me in Fall Guys. Man, I was, like, at, like, the second to last tier, and I'm, like, it's the start of, like, a loop or whatever. I missed the first jump, so I got hit back.
Oh,
and I was
my
like, okay,
gosh.
whatever.
Dude, Fall Guys?
The second one, and then I get hugged, and then he took us down together. So, I had a pretty good week, so that was the worst thing that happened.
Yeah, that's always a good week. If the worst thing that happened to you this week was Fall Guys, that game makes me pissed off. I have a couple holes on my desk dedicated to that game.
I'm addicted though, man. It's fun.
It is fun. I play it at work a lot. Cameron, what's the worst thing that happened to you this week?
Probably being up till like 4:30 when I had to wake up at 6 o'clock today.
You were up that late?
I could not fall asleep for the life of me.
I remember you were texting me yesterday. You were like, I'm not gonna get on. I'm just gonna sleep. I'm like, all right, man. Go ahead, man. Do what you need.
No, then I was up till 4:30 just sitting there tossing and turning.
That's the worst.
You heard Mason Rudolph was performing the best at camp.
I had a nightmare. I had nightmares.
Oh, no. Worst thing that happened to me was I think I had a stomach flu on Friday. It happened Thursday night randomly, like at 10 o'clock. I was literally sitting up playing with people on PC, and all of a sudden my stomach just drops, and I just feel terrible. And I will go upstairs and throw up. I'm like, oh, this is awful. So I go lay down. I couldn't sleep that whole night because I just felt terrible. It was worse. It was terrible. It was awful. I didn't go to work on Friday or Saturday because of how bad it was. But today I'm feeling better.
That's good.
Maybe the second worst thing that happened is me and Cameron getting recruited to the Clone Wars on Gary's mod.
Oh.
We got recruited to this thing on we did Star Wars RP, and we got recruited to a battalion, and we sat there for like maybe an hour and a half, then just going over basic training and shit.
We were sitting there dying laughing the whole time.
They made us download TeamSpeak, bro. TeamSpeak.
Did you have to give like military grade call outs?
Yeah, literally, they're like, this is A side, this is B side. We're like, bro, how the fuck are we supposed to remember that?
I was gonna mention that, but I think that's like too funny. It wasn't.
It was
bad.
Now
it's
funny bad. It was funny bad because at the moment we're like, bro, how long is this shit? We're like, bro, when is this shit going to end? Oh, that was
awesome.
That was funny.
It was funny.
But obviously this is our 3rd episode. This is the longest the podcast has gone. The past couple times they've only edited at episode 2, so this is a new record for the podcast. We've gone 3 weeks in a row, which is great. I feel like we're keeping consistency down. Something new that's happened is we have a TikTok now, which we had a video I posted about Josh Allen getting in a fight, which we'll go over a little bit later. But that video popped off, got over 500 likes, had a couple thousand views, and it got taken down because it didn't go by community guidelines. So,
of course.
So that happened, and we also the podcast is now on Spotify. So if you're watching this on Spotify, you're awesome. This episode isn't going to be put on Spotify until tomorrow because these kind of hour and a half long podcast episodes usually take about 12 to 13 hours to process on YouTube. So when it takes that long, I can't download it till then. So it'll be uploaded tomorrow. I don't know what time. Probably around the same time the podcast usually is, so around 12:31. So keep an eye out for that. And this is also officially the last week before anything football related is happening. So this Wednesday, I think it's the 4th. I think the 4th is a Wednesday. Is the Hall of Fame game with the Raiders and Jags, meaning again this is the last week without football. Last week without any kind of playing football, which is huge because that means once we're past the Hall of Fame game, then we'll be knee deep in preseason games and we have a lot of shit to talk about. So we're gonna have to move the podcast away from Sunday because Sunday at 1 p.m. is kind of a bad time for football because there's like 800 games going on at the same time. So we'll once we do figure out a new date, we will let you guys know. It'll probably be on one of the weekdays, is my guess. Maybe I think me and Cameron are talking. I think Thursday might be a good day.
Thursday's probably the best day.
Thursday will probably be the best day. We'll talk more about that, obviously. But yeah, so we're gonna move the podcast at some point, and this is our last week without football. How are you guys feeling about preseason and training camp so far? I guess I'll move into our first topic with training camp.
Training camp, it's been amazing. Like, there's so many stories that are coming out of training camp. I mean, you mentioned the Josh Allen fight, which I thought was just hilarious. And then you have like really, like, I saw a clip the other day. I know my girlfriend would appreciate this because she loves Tua for some reason. But Tua, I think it was like yesterday, hit Tyreek for a 65-yard pass with 55 yards of airtime. So I think Tua's arm strength has gotten better. And then you also have hilarious clips. I mean, you have the Josh Allen fight. You got Daniel Jones hitting a disabled fan with a pass. So there's been a lot going on. I love training camp.
And I guess I'll rephrase that question a little bit. How do you guys think training camp is going? And I know for Cameron, it's been kind of interesting because Mason Rudolph is I think one of the defensive or offensive coordinators said Mason Rudolph is looking the best out of the 3 quarterbacks. Cameron, how do you feel about the Steelers training camp going? So?
Okay. No, it's fine. Pickett will have a year. He's just gonna develop behind Mitch Trubisky, and we don't act like that other guy exists.
So are you okay?
I can't hear. I think I punched my headset out. I can't hear.
You punched your headset out?
I can't hear.
Oh my god. Jeez. Yeah, when I said the thing about Mason Rudolph, he freaked out on his camera for
Pittsburgh. This is what you're doing to your fans.
Oh my goodness. I'm surprised Mason Rudolph is still alive. How do you take a helmet hit to the head by Myles Garrett and walk away from that? That's damn near attempted murder.
Imagine what that says about Kenny Pickett though. Like if Mason Rudolph is having the best training camp, if he's having the best training camp, I would assume Trubisky has the second best because I've heard he's actually been okay in training camp. So is Kenny Pickett the 3rd best quarterback right now on the roster, and they used a 1st-round pick on him?
Yeah, and that's fine.
I'm
not expecting anything
he's a rookie. Obviously,
he was very raw. He's probably the most pro ready, but out of the draft. But you saw what they do. Mahomes for a year that he lights up the league. What Trey Lance is probably gonna do.
yeah.
But
Well, we got to talk about that too. With
yeah,
at some point we got to talk about that.
But kind of going more off the Steelers situation. Yeah, Mason Rudolph. I think if he starts, that'll be pretty freaking funny to me. I think Trubisky's gonna start. I think that's an easy. He's gonna start. He's a veteran quarterback. He's been in playoff situations. He's not bad. He's a decent quarterback. I would say he's kind of below average. I would say like a little bit below average, like literally like maybe like a little bit, tiny bit below average, or maybe even above, maybe a little bit average. Yeah, Trubisky.
I would say I'd give him slightly above for the simple fact that, to be fair, he was with the Bears. Like
that is a good point. That is a
pretty
good point.
dysfunctional organization, and he had his kicker not missed that field goal, they would have advanced in that round of the playoffs. So he could have just as many playoff wins as Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. So, I think Trubisky will start. I think he'll start for maybe the whole season. If he does get hurt and Pickett gets a chance to come in, or here actually that's actually a pretty interesting topic. If Trubisky gets hurt, who's coming in, Mason Rudolph or Pickett?
Either way, Pickett's starting by week 4.
Really?
Yeah.
I
think Pickett definitely gets a chance to play this year.
We are gonna harass the organization to get Pickett in there. We are cutthroat. Because Pickett was the smartest pick. I saw this on Twitter. I'm like, yeah. Even if he sucks, he's from around here, so he's gonna be liked anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
We're like, oh wow, he's a Pitt player. Like you're not gonna hate him. He's like, well, he kind of sucks, but we're not gonna hate him.
Right.
So either way, it was a safe pick to save their asses, basically.
But how do you feel about you got players. Chase Claypool came out and straight up said that Mason Rudolph was having the best training camp. So do you think the players would probably want Mason Rudolph to start if that's how they feel, and he might give them the best chance at winning? Because a couple of years ago when Rudolph started, he wasn't that horrible, right? I mean, he won a couple.
No, Rudolph was pretty decent until he took that hit to the head.
Yeah, I remember he beat Cincinnati in that primetime game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if he was in, we could have beat the Chargers too. Duck Hodges beat the Chargers.
I think I was at that game where Mason Rudolph was
Cincinnati
playing.
Pittsburgh one.
Yeah, because I was in Paul Brown Stadium, right?
Yeah, because we were both 0-3. We were combined 0-6.
Yeah, I was at that game. I think that was the last Bengals game I went to. Actually, thinking about it, that was back before I was into football. So my dad was just kind of like, "Hey, you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So that was back before I was really into football, because I got into football very, very recently, 2019 recently, I would say. So
I think that game was around then. That was the year that we started 0-10.
Yeah. So
because that was when we were doing neutral
recently.
zone. Because that was one of our last episodes. Because I predicted to Cam that the Bengals were going to win. And then we didn't.
And it didn't happen.
Another 7 weeks.
It didn't happen. So 7-week depression. That's why the third episode didn't come out.
Oh, I was just people were clowning me on Twitter. I remember people were straight up clowning me all over Twitter.
That's the thing about this podcast, though. Now that we have this podcast starting back up, people are gonna clown the shit out of us during when the season starts if we get one little thing wrong. And I've seen it with every podcast that ever existed. If you make a prediction and it becomes even slightly wrong, people will not let you forget it, which is the funniest part about it.
Do you see Skip Bayless's replies?
Oh
on
yeah,
his tweets?
It's bad.
That's different.
We won't get to that level.
He's like a
until
NFL
another 15,
analyst.
20 years.
He's a certified hater.
He's a professional hater.
I would say he's a hater, but I mean, if you listen to the interviews of people that worked with him, he genuinely believes everything he says.
Really?
And if he, Stephen A. Smith straight up said, Skip believes everything he says, and so did Shannon. And when he makes his takes, if you could, he is a hater, but at the same time, if he likes you, he will defend you to the ends of the earth. He's literally defended Kevin Durant if KD's playing a horrible season, or Baker Mayfield even. I remember that Packers game last year. Baker threw 4 interceptions. Skip gave him a B for his performance. So he's a hater, but he's also a lover.
Right. Talking more about the Steelers a little bit, George Pickens is looking like an absolute beast on the field during training camp so far.
I don't know how he fell that far, to be honest.
But
Do you think it was the fighting incidents?
Oh, 100%. But we love that shit. We love that shit.
That's Pittsburgh right there.
That's
baby.
Pittsburgh right there. So it's not like a big thing. We know how Tomlin deals with character issues. We dealt with AB.
oh yeah,
Having nobody knew that AB was like that until we cut him.
I'm gonna play a clip on the
You kept
stream
Ben
right now
Roethlisberger.
of Pickens. Let me see if I can get this here. There we go. A clip of Pickens dropping a pass, but then like diving and catching it. This clip is insane. He drops it, then like dives and catches it again.
I don't think I've seen this clip.
No,
It's
great.
insane. I think that's Mike Tomlin. Is that? I think so. He like hits him with the pad, then he drops the pass, and he jumps and dives and catches it with one hand. It's insane.
In a game that's going to be intercepted, but for right now,
That is a fantastic catch.
you love to see that as a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as a rookie, he's got.
Having
I
that,
think that shows he has a lot of determination too. He's not giving
he's
up.
got
A lot
that
of
grit.
a lot of lesser receivers would have just let it drop and went to the next rep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's impressive, honestly, and I think he has the opportunity to be definitely higher up on the wide receiver chart. I think definitely he can. I think he can replace Chase Claypool as wide receiver too.
Oh yeah.
At some point in the season, because he's already looking like a beast. He's looking insane.
he's
There's a couple other
insane.
pass catches. Let me see if they have the other one. The one where he yeah, there it is. The one he jumped and caught over his head. This is a dropped pass. Unfortunately, it was an incompletion, but that picture is still beautiful. That is a beautiful picture.
You said he dropped it?
Yeah. So there's a picture of him like making like an OBJ type catch with two hands, where he's like over his back and he's like arching his back all the way. But
Yeah.
he ends up dropping it, unfortunately. But it made for an amazing
great
picture.
image.
Amazing picture.
Wish those like helmets weren't in there. I would like have that like on my phone.
Oh yeah, like the goofy helmets.
I mean, love them. Prevent injuries during training camp, but like they are so funny looking.
They are. They look like turtle shells.
They do.
They got
Speaking
the
of which,
Koopa Troopa
the
shells.
training camp injuries are starting to pile up. I mean,
Oh.
Tom
Yeah,
Brady just
injuries are
lost
starting to
his
happen.
But
Yeah.
they're trying to sign J.C. Treader, I think, he was on the Browns last year.
J.C.
was
Treader's
really-
really good, so
he
I
was
think that'd be
really
a solid
good.
replacement. But there was also another injury. I can't remember. They didn't say exactly when it was, but someone was carted off the field recently too.
That
So
was
there's
the
been a-
Bills, the Bills safety, I think.
Yes, thank you. It was Micah Hyde,
Micah Hyde, yeah.
or was it Jordan
Ooh.
Poyer?
It was Micah Hyde, I believe.
That's a huge blow to that
But
Bills defense.
they said he was going to be back for after week 5.
Okay,
That's
that's solid.
good.
We play them week 1. I wonder if Joey B saw that news clip and he's like, maybe I can hit Jamar deep.
Yes.
Like that.
But now that
Do we
we
have the
covered
clip
Steelers a little
of-
bit.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. You're good.
I was gonna say 2 clips I think we should show that I thought were really interesting. Is Tua's 65-yard bomb to Tyreek. It's a thing of beauty, dude.
Let me
And I'm not like the
let me
biggest
search
Tua
it.
lover, but the throw and the fans were going crazy about it. And then
Oh yeah, there we go. I have it.
it's a fantastic
audio's
throw.
loud.
And then I think we should definitely show the Baker. Baker had a horrible pick yesterday too.
Yeah, I'm showing the Tua clip right now.
Okay. It's just.
I don't think I've
God, it
seen
looks
this
so
yet.
cool.
Boom.
It's pretty nice. It's
And-
a beautiful throw.
Oh yeah, that was put right there.
That is perfect. They didn't lose any velocity.
Yeah, that was
I
really
wanna see
good.
it.
Boom! Literally right in his arms. I remember I saw a clip on TikTok too about I forgot what team it was, but it was I think it was the Browns maybe. I don't know. Actually, I don't think it was the Browns. It was I can't think of the team, but I know Austin. You played football, right? You played football.
Yeah, I did. In freshman
Have
year
you
of high
guys
school.
ever got? Did you guys play defense?
Yeah.
I didn't.
So I played.
was
I
offense.
played defense. So
I
Cameron might
played
be able to relate
defense
this.
too, yeah.
Have you ever gotten absolutely screamed at for accidentally getting in the quarterback's way when he's trying to make a pass during practice plays?
So, funnily enough, with that, I got into a fight with my coach because of that.
Really?
I normally was the most like nice player. I would help kids up, but like this one coach was just pissing me off because he played quarterback. Because like it was our first team defense and our second team offense. Our second team offense, we didn't have a backup quarterback like that was like wasn't on defense. So I get to the line because I was on the edge. I was at the defensive end. I get to the line and I accidentally like hit him. Like I was like slowing down and hitting him. He's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? You suck or something like that. He's like, where are you going? Like something like that. And I just went back to the line. I just kept getting pissed off. And then like I was like Kirk Cousins almost. Like after like the last rep, I went after him. I pushed him. I'm like, you like that? Something like that.
Right.
Oh.
No. I went like, who sucks now? And I just walked away.
That's
That
awesome.
was awesome.
I'm glad you brought up that Kirk Cousins story because we got to talk about
Oh,
that.
That
we
is
do.
wild.
That is the biggest dub of the entire season.
That is
Yes.
wild.
Say what you want about Kirk, but man, his passion is unmatched.
Yeah.
Especially when you got beef with a coach like that, then you prove him wrong. You're like, you like that? Who sucks now? He
Yeah.
pushes-
You want-
he
should
gets
we just
pissed
tell
off.
that
and he just
story
pushes-
real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
go
we
ahead.
should.
You should tell it. Go ahead.
Okay, so Kirk Cousins last year, I can't remember exactly what game it was, but him and his coach, oh my god, I forget, Zimmerman. No, it was
Yeah,
it
you
was
were
Mike
right.
Zimmerman. So Zimmerman was pissed at Kirk at one point,
it's
and
Zimmer.
he told Kirk that he's costing them these games. And, you know, he's got to play better, is what he said. So Kirk didn't talk to him for an entire week, and they played the Lions, and it was the second time they played the Lions where they actually won, and Kirk got them into like field goal range at the last second. And the first thing he said to him all week is he said, "You like that? I just saved you your fucking job," to his face.
Yeah,
And
I
shoved it.
love that.
And there's a video
love
of it
that.
too. It's so good.
Oh man, oh yeah, I do remember that video.
It was because they were. I remember the announcer was like, "Why are they fighting on the sidelines? You know, they just won the game." But no, Kirk was pissed.
Kirk. Oh my god.
And it makes so much sense now if you watch that clip back, because Mike Zimmer, he was on an interview and he said like the first thing he said to me was, "You like that? I just saved your fucking career." But then you rewatch that clip and you're like, "Wow."
And I get why he's pissed because Kirk Cousins probably like, dude, I've thrown 33 touchdowns and 7 picks this year. What do you mean I'm the problem?
Yeah.
Like I think the problem with the Vikings was definitely the coaching and that defense was just giving up way too much last season.
I agree.
But yeah, that was my favorite story I've heard. I didn't even find out about that until like the other day, but it was
Yeah, same. I saw that
best
on
story.
Twitter. And Cameron's just.
But while on the
gone.
topics of quarterbacks, I think we definitely got to talk about this whole Baker Mayfield situation.
Baker Mayfield versus, I think, didn't they say Sam Darnold's doing better than Baker already with the he
Apparently,
like went for
Sam
like
is having a
5.
really good training camp.
I know I put the stat in the Discord because I saw it on Twitter. Let me see.
I heard Baker had one really good day where he went like 11 of 17. He threw a touchdown to DJ Moore, but the other, like, there were 2 days where he was just awful. And there was a clip that dropped on Twitter, I think yesterday, where Baker was getting pressured and he just threw the most disgusting pick six.
Really? I know.
So
Here,
it'd be very interesting if Baker, there was this huge drama this whole offseason with Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson. Then he goes to the Panthers. He's ready to start for them, and they start fucking Sam Darnold over him.
That would be hilarious. First off, it's Sam Darnold, so that would be hilarious. I have the stat here. Sam Darnold, I think this is the first day of camp. He threw 11-14 for 5 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. That was Sam Darnold.
That's fantastic.
Baker, I don't know what his completion rate was, but he threw 0 touchdowns and 1 interception. And that was the first day of camp, I believe.
I think Panthers
I-
preseason games are going to look nice though.
I
Because I think
will
their
say-
actual starting quarterback's going to play.
Yeah, I will say, though, Baker does kind of have a little bit of excuse because he just got there and he does not know the system nearly as well as Sam Darnold does.
Yeah.
But some of these plays you just look at and you're like, Baker, like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like,
Let me see if I can find Baker's clip real quick here.
I know he is still recovering too from a surgery though, right?
I believe so.
Oh, and Matt, I forgot they drafted Matt Corral too.
Yeah, so maybe he starts. I don't think he will. I think
He's been throwing some like incredible, like, you know how they have that target practice thing?
yeah.
He's literally banking it every time. Like there's a clip of him just boom, boom, boom it was insane.
He was supposed to be a first round quarterback.
If I had to guess though, I would say Darnold probably starts for that team. I think Matt Corral is like a future prospect. Like, I think once Sam Darnold's deal is done, that's when Matt Corral probably gets some time to shine. Because they paid a pretty good amount of money for Sam Darnold. I mean, they traded a good haul for him too.
What was it, a second?
And Baker's on a really cheap deal. I think Baker's only got 1 year on his deal.
Baker and Sam only have 1 year left.
So maybe, like, if you're Matt Rule, you get Sam Darnold, you bring in Baker Mayfield because you want to save your job for the season, have a decent season, and then Matt Corral is your quarterback of the future.
Yeah, because was it him or the other one that had a really bad injury, so he dropped?
Oh, between Matt Corral and
Matt Corral and the other one.
Malik Willis?
No.
I know Desmond Ridder did not have an injury.
No,
so.
not Ridder.
Which, by the way, I'm very curious how he's doing in Falcons training.
I think Matt Corral was the Old Miss one, right, or no?
I think he was, because Desmond Ridder was UC.
North Carolina one.
I can't remember. Oh, yeah. Horrible pick six, though. That throw by Baker. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't even see who he was going for, honestly.
I think he just got pressured.
Oh, no,
it
I
looks
see
like he was trying to go to whoever that is on that crossing route.
Yeah.
And he just
threw right into
didn't
traffic. Number 18.
Yeah, that's who he was going to. Looks like he was going to whoever was on that short crossing route, and he just did not see the defender there.
Yeah. He looks kind of, at the very end of the clip, it looks so funny because he's just standing there. He's like, damn.
He's like, I really just threw that.
He's just like, damn. That's funny. But, yeah, so that's going to be interesting in Carolina to see what happens. I think, yeah, what you said during preseason, they're definitely going to give each of the quarterbacks different reps to see who fits better. That's why preseason is going to be kind of interesting this year. I know preseason usually, it's like preseason games. Who cares about preseason games? But I think seeing, because the offseason this year was insane. We had an insane offseason this year. So I think it's going to be interesting to see all these new players play on different teams that we're not used to. They're definitely going to play because they want to get, in-game reps for the situation they're in. So they're definitely going to play. So it's going to be interesting to see, what kind of happens,
There's two other preseason situations too that I think are really interesting. One is the Browns, because Deshaun hasn't been suspended yet.
Yeah,
so we might actually get to see him play in the preseason.
Mm.
And then, I mean, even if he does get suspended, they brought in 4 different quarterbacks they're going to try out. And then I think the Falcons are interesting too, because you got Mariota, who hasn't been a starter in years, and then they just drafted Desmond Ridder, so you have a quarterback competition there. I mean, there's a lot of QB competitions right now. The Titans with Malik Willis, there's a lot to go on in preseason. So I think it's gonna be very, especially even for the Bengals. I mean, Joe Burrow's your starter, but you're gonna have a little bit of a quarterback battle between Brandon Allen and they just signed an undrafted quarterback as well. So there's a lot of really interesting. The Steelers, I mean, for God's sakes, they got 3 potential starters.
Yeah, there's a battle going on in Pittsburgh. It's kind of interesting that you brought up Deshaun, because there was news, I think 2 days ago, saying that we can learn about Deshaun's, learn about what's happening with Deshaun up until maybe in a couple days. So I think we'll definitely have that to talk about next week. I think what they said is we'll probably hear about his punishment by next week. So we'll definitely have a big topic to talk about next week.
What do you think his suspension's going to be? if you had to guess.
The NFL like PA said they were gonna, like him was gonna like sue if it was more than 8 games.
I think it's gonna be 6-7 games.
Unfortunately, it's gonna be 8.
Yeah, I think I agree with Cam. I think it's going to be 8, but it's disappointing because it should be at least a season.
Zeke got how many for a false, like one false? Like,
Zeke
was it
got
false?
4 or 6 games,
Or
and
was it just
it
like
was proven that he didn't do anything, but they suspended
Yeah.
for his conduct.
Yeah,
Josh Gordon got an entire season over marijuana. Calvin Ridley got a season for
betting
betting on a game that he wasn't even
$1,000.
playing in.
Betting $1,000. Yeah.
Betting on his own team too, especially.
Ben Roethlisberger got 4 games for sexual assault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you know how bad ablazed the internet's gonna be if he gets 0.
I think no matter what his suspension is, the internet's going to be on fire because no matter what, you're going to have the crowd that says it should have been longer, and you're going to have the crowd that says there's no evidence, so he shouldn't have had any games. Because there are legit people who think he should have 0-game suspensions.
Browns
And
fans.
there's other people who believe he shouldn't be allowed in the NFL ever again.
Right.
Literally just Browns fans.
Yeah.
I think they gotta be trolling.
They
that.
love him. I mean, if he in training camp, he got a standing ovation.
Yeah, he did. Like it's kind of funny.
Really?
The clip he runs out in the field, no one really notices at first that's him, and then you hear one person go Deshaun. Then I hear everyone like cheering, like stand up. Clap.
Like with that, like it's their quarterback. I get it.
Yeah,
Like it's not like is it wrong? Yeah, but like did I also kind of want Deshaun before like the 26 case to show up? Like yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like before the 26 cases, anyone would have wanted Deshaun.
Like
Well, he still had some allegations,
I think
but
even
there were
with
the number of 26 came out, I think, before he got traded.
Like he was.
I think there was the point where it was like the Saints, the Panthers, like like a little hole deep down in me wanted Deshaun because like Ben retired.
Yeah.
But, like after the actual court case, you're just like, oh.
Yeah, like he's a good quarterback. He's an exceptional quarterback. That's just that's just a fact. Honestly, it's like he did do some wrong things, but he's still like an exceptional quarterback, and you can't see that down.
If we're
So
talking strictly about his
before
play,
court cases, of course, people would want him. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're talking strictly about his play, the last time we saw him play, he led the league in passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
He's a phenomenal quarterback.
And I think he had 3 Pro Bowls.
Mhm.
Which I know nowadays the Pro Bowl really doesn't mean anything because it's a fan vote, but before it was a fan. I think it was back when people actually had a say in it. Like Deshaun had 3 Pro Bowls in a row or something crazy. And he's won a playoff game just as well. He's been to the playoffs twice. He was up 24-0 on Patrick Mahomes until one of the greatest playoff comebacks ever happened. So I can understand a lot of teams wanting him, but I think the Browns just overpaid him by.
100%.
And I think when you look at if you're paying that much money to someone, you want them to win you a Super Bowl. Deshaun hasn't gotten past the divisional round. I just think they overpaid. And yeah, the civil suits.
The talent's there for Deshaun, though.
Yeah. I agree. But maybe we should talk about this Josh Allen fight as well. Just because that was one of the biggest stories in training camp.
That's true. For those that follow us on TikTok, saw that I posted a video on our TikTok of Josh Allen getting a little bit of a fight with, I think it was one of the D linemen that got his way when he was running, and I think it pissed him off because he's like, "What if I would have tripped and injured myself?" So I think he got pissed off, and you could see he turns around, he pushes him. Then there's a big pile, and then I think you see Gabe Davis jump on top of the pile at the end of the clip. So
That's
their
their
whole team got in a fight. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. How I don't get how or why. Honestly, I don't get why they would have.
It's just football. I
think it happens.
Yeah.
I think. I mean,
Especially
every quarterback, even the most calm, cool, and collected ones, behind the scenes, they've done. I mean, I saw a video with Joe Burrow. I mean, it was in college, but he straight up socked one of his. The first one to throw a punch was Joe Burrow in one of the fights with his team. So
yeah,
I think every quarterback does it.
It's just football. That happens with everybody. There's always one scrap. bad.
I don't think there's any bad blood. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
Josh
no,
Allen
no.
and whoever he got into a fight with, like right afterwards, like
Took him
after
out to dinner.
practice, joked around and hugged it out
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
That just means we're closer to the week 1.
It's like
More than-
it's a brotherhood, you know. You get into fights, then you're like right after you're like, all right, that was kind of stupid. What's up though?
Yeah.
But yeah, that just means we're closer to week 1, and we're getting there. I'm so excited. I'm so
I
excited.
can't wait. I can't wait for that first Neutral Zone episode after
Dude, it's
a
gonna
football
be
game.
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun talking about stats and all
Power
that.
Power rankings.
Power
week 1.
rankings.
Oh, power
yeah.
rankings are gonna be so fun, dude.
Dude, oh yeah, Cameron already made the week 1 thumbnail.
The week 1 thumbnail. Yeah.
It's so good.
Let's go.
It's so good. He made that like before our first episode, I think, too, right?
Yeah, I have to fix the logo though.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
the
week
logo.
1 is Steelers versus Bengals.
That I forgot about that. That's literally. Oh, I forgot about Steelers versus
There's
Bengals.
so many
week
great
1.
storylines for week 1s. We got Steelers and Bengals. We got Panthers and Browns. So if Baker starts, he's playing his
It's
old
literally
team.
like the story. It's like a script. Literally, it wrote
We
itself
have-
like a script. It's insane.
We have Broncos versus Seahawks.
Seattle,
So Russ gets to play the Seahawks in his first game as a Bronco.
Russ,
like-
I think it's hilarious that Russ's first game as a Bronco is literally going to be where he played before. So it's like literally like he's not even like playing in a different stadium for the first time until week 2. Week 2 will be
Yeah,
like the
it's-
first time he plays in his own stadium.
And he's so used to it because like Seattle was one of the loudest stadiums. He's so used to it.
He's
Like,
going
it's
to take
not
out
even
like
like
10
that.
years of frustration on that
Yeah.
team. Lord have mercy. And we know how Russ is in the first 6 weeks of the season. He plays like a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. So it's gonna be, and Drew Lock. It's gonna be interesting. What if Drew Lock ends up being like a superstar?
I'm curious how that training camp's going. I haven't heard anything out of the Seahawks training camp. I know DK got his huge extension, which we'll talk about a little later, but I'm curious how Drew Lock and I can't remember who he's competing with. I think it's Geno Smith. Drew Lock and Geno Smith.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Literally, like the week 1 is literally wrote out like a script. Baker versus the Browns. Deshaun. Or no, wait, it's not Deshaun versus. Is it Deshaun versus Texans?
No, Deshaun's on the Browns.
Or I mean Deshaun versus Texans. Is the Browns versus Texans week 1? I thought
No,
it
it's-
was.
It's the Browns versus Panthers because Baker's playing.
Oh, Browns versus Panthers. So it's well, Deshaun versus Baker too will be kind of a fun matchup. But Baker
if
versus
Deshaun
Browns.
starts and if Baker
Oh,
starts,
yeah.
because I think there's a good
forgot.
chance Baker might miss out on that game.
That is very true. I don't know what my
If he
brain
keeps
just.
playing like this in
muffled
training
there.
camp, and if Sam Darnold beats him out, and hell, even if Matt Corral beats him out,
Right. Yeah.
but
It's literally wrote out perfectly. So.
but should we move over to our next topic? Julio Jones to the Buccaneers.
Julio Jones to the who I
That
did not see that coming.
Huge.
When I saw that, I was like, "What?"
That is huge for the Bucs. I forgot
Here's
it's
my
free agent,
only knock on it is that Julio hasn't been healthy in like 3 years.
He's not the number 1 option now though.
He's not. But I think if Julio can play like if he plays like 2016 prime Julio, it's over. But even if he plays like the Julio of any of his years with the Falcons, I think the Buccaneers have the strongest receiving core in the NFL.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I love the Bengals. I love Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, all of them. But the Bucs would have Mike Evans, healthy Chris Godwin, and Julio Jones.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Tom Brady has no excuses at that point. Why he shouldn't be putting up 45 plus touchdowns,
Who's
especially
their,
if they stay healthy the whole year.
Who's their tight end now? Brait?
I believe it's Cameron
Remember-
Brate.
And he's a great tight end too. Yeah. There's
Their only concern is Leonard Fournette's weight.
and he already. I think he's losing it anyway. As camp started. So it's awesome.
But that when I saw that news report that Julio Jones signed with the Bucs, I was like, oh my god!
I thought it was
dude,
fake at
really?
first because I saw it off of a TikTok. That was literally the first thing I saw was off of TikTok. And I was like, okay, like what? Like that was the dumbest thing. And then I got whatever that Twitter account is. I follow a Twitter
My
account.
sports
That gives me-
update.
It's I forgot what it was, but it's the same account that spoiled every freaking draft pick, and it kind of pissed me off. But
Yeah, my sports update spoiled all of them for me.
yeah, that
But-
was so annoying. That was
Dude, literally though, but he literally went. They went from Antonio Brown to Julio Jones.
Mhm.
That's like the best way you could ever. I mean, Julio
Was-
might even be better than AB.
In the twilight
just-
years of them right now, I wouldn't say.
that's
I think it's close though.
I kind of forgot AB was on the Bucs. Like I forgot that happened. I'm gonna
He
be,
has a fucking Super Bowl ring,
Mhm.
and like I can't even like I hate him as a person, but I respect him so much
I
as a
respect
player.
his talent.
Like I hate that I still like him. Like
Yeah,
it's one
I
of
hate
those
that I
things.
like his talent.
I hate that I like but also I just want to say Bill Russell died. Just got that news.
That
Bill Russell
right
died?
now,
Yes, Bill Russell,
that's
NBA
that's
legend,
tragic.
died. Yeah, that news just dropped.
Rest in peace to
Rest
one
in
of the
peace.
greatest athletes
Wow.
of all time.
More rings than fingers.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the greatest basketball players to ever live, and just also one of the best people to ever live. I mean, if you listen to him in interviews and stuff, he's just such a great person.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Wow.
that just dropped.
Man, rest in peace.
I haven't even got a notification for that yet. That's
yeah,
crazy.
literally, I didn't even get a notification for that either.
And he was just
Idiot.
he was just out and about when the Celtics were in the NBA finals. You know, he was doing a lot of interviews and he was out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of there's been a lot of like kind of celebrity deaths that's been happening this year. It's kind of sad. It's like kind of 2020 in that sense. There's a lot of like sad passing aways.
Yeah.
College football player just passed away yesterday.
Another
Mhm.
one? Really? You guys see that that one was it Oregon tight end?
Mm-hmm.
Happened to him? Yeah.
I mean, just not even like a few months ago, Dwayne Haskins passed away. It's sad, man.
Dude, that hit me hard. That hit me hard. Being a
I love
Buckeyes
Dwayne
fan,
Haskins.
that hit me deep. I went to the vigil, the candlelight vigil that was held at the shoe for Dwayne Haskins. There were a couple players there, like Master Teague was there, some C.J. Stroud was there, all the Buckeye players. There's a couple of old players that were there too that knew him.
Every single person that ever worked with Dwayne Haskins or teamed with Dwayne Haskins will tell you he was the nicest and most supportive person they've met in their entire life.
Yeah, so it
He was nothing but
so
good to the
sad.
people around him.
Yeah, that was so sad. That hit me deep, man. That hit me real deep. But me and my brother went and we put a candle there, so we kind of showed our support. Yeah, that was really sad. The way he died too was just awful. Definitely gone way too soon.
Yeah.
Gone way too soon.
But
Yeah, it's a
well,
little
so we were just talking about
hard
We were
to
just on Julio Jones.
It was
little
really
hard,
to-
literally hard to go off
I
of
know.
that
I'm
topic.
I'm sorry, but I had to bring it up. 'Cause
No,
No, it's
I'm
okay.
glad you did. I think it'd be disrespectful if we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's,
But-
it's a little hard to get off that topic, but yeah, going back to Julio Jones.
While we were talking about Julio, I think we could also talk about DK Metcalf's new contract.
Mhm.
Great deal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I think
surprised that he went
the
for it.
Seahawks. Yeah, the Seahawks went scorched earth, got rid of everybody, but they're keeping DK Metcalf, which I think is the right move. I think that's their number one receiver for the next 5-6 years.
Yeah, I definitely think he's pretty talented too. Like he's not a bad wide receiver at all.
Oh no, I think he's great. I think he's arguably top 10 in the league. And I think if you're going with Drew Lock or if you're going with Geno Smith, you definitely need an arguable top 10 receiver to pair with
Yeah.
him if you want any success.
Yeah, and we'll see how they how Drew Lock, dude. Okay, if the Seahawks beat the Broncos week 1, that would be hilarious.
I'd be very worried if I was a Broncos fan
That would be so funny.
because Russ is like the best quarterback they've had since Peyton Manning, and it's not even close.
Yeah,
And Russ has given that organization so much hope going forward. It's if they lose week 1 to the Seahawks, I'd be a little nervous. You know.
I just find it ironic that he's on the Broncos out of all teams.
Yeah, literally. Broncos country, let's ride.
After what they did to Peyton Manning.
Literally, like
that was a murder. I remember watching that. I'm pretty sure it's that Seahawks jersey that we brought up last week. But like I remember watching it and I just fell in love with the Legion of Boom.
Was it like 40-8 or something crazy?
It was something absurd.
I remember watching that game. I was one of the only people that picked the Seahawks to win. Everyone's like, "Man, Peyton Manning's gonna light it," because that was was that the year he had like 53 touchdowns?
I think so, yeah.
So everyone was like, "Man, Peyton Manning's gonna tear that defense apart." Man, from the first snap, that game was over.
Wasn't the first snap
Safety?
So like a safety? Yeah.
The first snap went over Peyton's head. I remember that.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that kind of makes me sad about how I just now kind of got into like football and NFL, so I couldn't know about it. So I literally I didn't watch football during like the Peyton Manning era. I literally think the first time like I started getting into football was when we tied with the Eagles 2020, I think.
Man, I remember me and Cam back before anybody was even like in our friend group talking about football, man. We were going back and forth about football. We had the Andy Dalton, Ben Roethlisberger debates.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember not this past year, but the year before, me and him and Benny sat in a call for the NFL draft, trying to predict who was going to go next. And I will never forget his reaction when they drafted a fucking tight end. And they drafted Freiermuth. And it ended up being a good pick, but at the time, Cam was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" So they drafted Najee in the first round, and then they drafted Freiermuth and no offensive lineman.
Yeah, I was pissed.
Right.
But
yeah, so me getting into football late I need to watch all these games though. That's the thing though. I should have used this off season as like a, I'm kind of new to football. Let me catch up, see what's all happened.
You got to study.
Definitely, I need to.
the NFL has a channel, NFL Throwback. You can
There's
watch
a lot of great games in there.
You can watch like the Eagles, Patriots, Super Bowl, a bunch of that.
Great Super Bowl, by the way.
Yeah, phenomenal. Love that one.
Right. I think
If you
Benny
need
would
to
agree.
if you need to watch any of those, yeah, NFL Throwback. That goes for anybody.
I would say one of my favorite games. I think that is on NFL Throwback. It's the Bengals comeback against the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are up 24-7 in the fourth quarter, and Andy Dalton led an insane comeback. We won in overtime after hitting our kick off the upright. It was a fantastic. It was one of my favorite games I've ever watched. That was the year we started 8-0. I was so excited, and we lost in the first round.
Yeah. And in classic fashion, of course. But
Have you? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I said, if you haven't watched the Chiefs Rams from 2018,
Oh my god!
highly recommend that. If
Offensive
you
showdown.
loved the Chiefs Bills this past season,
You're gonna look at Jared Goff in a different
Rams,
light.
you're gonna see Jared Goff. You're like, this guy is great.
I like
Jared
Jared
Goff is a top 3 quarterback.
I think Jared Goff is. I think he's not terrible. Like I definitely
I don't think he's the problem in Detroit.
I don't think so either. I think he's a great quarterback. Watching some Detroit games last year, especially, like he's not a bad quarterback. He slings it in. He's not bad.
losing them games. Like he's not.
Yeah, he's not the problem.
They have a horrible defense and a really bad receiving core.
Their offensive line, phenomenal. I like their offensive line.
Their offensive line's fantastic, and they had a good offseason. That's why I say I could see the Lions finishing better than the Bears and getting third place, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're a Lions fan and you were like afraid of going 0 for last year, and you get third place this year, that's genuine improvement.
Right.
I think if the Lions get like 7 wins or 6 wins, that's a huge success of a season for them.
Oh yeah.
I agree. Definitely. Yeah. Imagine. Yeah, for sure.
Plus, their head coach is just—I don't think anyone dislikes their head coach.
No, he's so funny.
I think, and you were talking about NFL throwback. For me, I've been watching a lot of college throwbacks. Like I've been watching a lot of Ohio State games to get ready for the Ohio State season this year. Though there's something about college games. I don't know what it is. They just have a different energy than NFL
They're a lot
games
more
to me.
exciting.
they just feel a lot more like. I don't know if that's just like because the Ohio State Buckeyes are like a top 2 team in the entire world right now, or if it's just I don't know. It's weird. There's just like a different energy there, and it's awesome. I love watching college football so much.
Yeah, I think the thing about college, like a lot of these players, I know they're getting money now, which that's awesome because I've been saying for years college players should get paid, but now a lot of them are playing for their lives. Basically, they're trying to prove themselves to these scouts. So, I mean, and plus a lot of times you get so many lopsided games in college football just because of how many teams there are and how a lot of the Mountain West is not going to compete with the SEC. So you get a lot of those lopsided games, and luckily for people like us, Ohio State is one of those blessed programs that just gets the best recruits every year. So
Right.
we get a lot of those lopsided games.
Yeah, we have the future Heisman winner on our team, of course, C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud.
I found out
He finished pretty good last year, too.
C.J. Stroud lives where I used to live.
Really?
I have almost every
Doxed
day. I see a new person on my Snapchat story take a selfie with C.J. Stroud at the Kroger that I used to go to.
That's awesome.
Literally almost every day. Like every day he goes to the same Kroger that me and my family used to shop at. Like he literally lives in our area. Like it's insane. So I would, if I got to meet CJ Stroud, that'd be insane. But because he's definitely future Heisman winner, definitely future, maybe first second pick in the NFL draft next year, maybe.
Justin
I would
Fields has
say.
got to do good, man, because I really believe the Ohio State quarterback curse is real.
Oh, I agree. 100%.
Justin Fields has got to do something for me, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got to step up. I really hope he's good this year because I love Justin Fields,
He's in such a shitty situation, though.
but he's in a terrible situation. Yeah.
His 2 best receivers are Darnell Mooney and N'Keal Harry. That's not a knock on Mooney either. I just don't think he's a number 1. He's a great number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But in their defense, it is all right, but it took a step back, and that offensive line is absolutely horrible.
Right. Yeah, I just hope he shows that if he shows that speed, scrambling out left side.
He did have that crazy good play last year against the 49ers where he did exactly that. He scrambled for a really nice touchdown where he had to switch directions. So,
Yeah.
by the way, while we're on the 49ers, before we get to top 3, bottom 3, what are your guys' thoughts on Jimmy G being sat and Trey Lance starting?
I think it was, it was gonna happen eventually.
I think it's a little overdue.
I think it was.
I mean, they couldn't trade Jimmy G because of the surgery that he had, technically, because they're not allowed to trade an injured player.
Yeah.
But it's a little overdue to announce it. I think everybody already knew, but even then, the fact of we don't know who's starting, that's what kind of made everybody go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about, apparently, I saw this on Twitter, so I'm not sure if it's real, but apparently the Giants have interest in Jimmy G.
That's a great fit. I think that's a great fit.
Jimmy G's he's not a terrible quarterback either. Like he's definitely better than some quarterbacks in the league right now that are starting. I would
I
say.
think he's slightly above mid because the one thing you can always say about Jimmy G is he's a winner. I mean, for all of his faults, he's good for at least 1 turnover a game. He's been to the Super Bowl and he's an NFC champion.
He was
in the championship game last year. I know they had Deebo Samuel, but Jimmy G's a winner. So that I think if he goes to the Giants, I think the Giants instantly. Automatically, I think that's an upgrade over Daniel Jones.
100%. It's they were 1 overthrow away from a Super Bowl. The Niners.
Literally, yeah.
Could you imagine how different we look at Jimmy G if he beat Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl?
How different we look at Patrick Mahomes
Yeah.
losing 2 Super Bowls and 2 AFC championships.
He'd be like 2-4 in championship games.
Yeah.
But that 2018 game was also really good. Chiefs.
Yeah.
Patriots. Today, Junior. I still
Should we,
hate. I still despise D Ford for that.
He just got
Amended.
traded too, didn't he? Or he got cut?
Got cut. He cost a Rams Chiefs Super Bowl,
He did.
and I'm so sad. That hurt.
Should
That
we-
hurt so much.
Should we transition into top 3, bottom 3?
Anything else
Yeah.
to talk about? We're a little early. You need. Anything else you gotta talk about or no?
I think we
I
covered
think we
most of
covered the
everything.
big stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I think it was Austin last week. So Cameron, today is your turn for top 3, bottom 3.
Ooh. Let's see.
Let's have a fiery debate.
I want to. Top 3. Because we're gonna do a kind of debated thing, but top 3 wide receivers.
Of
Playing
all-
in the league
Did
right
we do
now.
that already?
In the
or
league
no?
right now or of all time?
I think we did fantasy receivers.
All time. All time.
All time?
That's what I mean. That's what I meant. Yeah. All time.
See, now this is where my football knowledge falls off a cliff.
One is obvious. One's a lock, but the other 4
Are we
are
sure about that?
Is it
Who's your number 1? Because I think we have the same one. I
Jerry
would say
Rice.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, lock.
Okay. Who's your number 2?
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss? This is where it happens.
I gotta
There
think
you go.
hard about that, man. Because my 2 and 3 are not what everyone's 2 and 3 would usually be.
Really?
I want to. This is so tough, man, and this is such a hot take, but I love T.O. I think T.O. is one of the most. I know he's considered an all-time great, but because of his demeanor, I think people knock him down a lot. When that man was playing healthy, he was virtually unstoppable. There was nothing you could do. So that's tough. But I would have T.O. maybe 3. And I know Randy Moss is one of the best receivers of all time. But, man, I got to think hard, man. Because there was a lot, even in recent times, there were fantastic receivers. Like, where does Larry Fitz fall on that list? Where does
He's
Andre Johnson, was
He was great.
fantastic. So I think I could put Moss. I'd put T.O. above Moss in my all-time rankings.
just because the Super Bowls.
The Super Bowls and in big moments, T.O. never disappeared. I mean, I know Moss really didn't that much either, but Moss was part of that 17-0 team that got beat by Eli Manning in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
T.O. to me, he has the fantastic clutch catch in between 2 people on the Niners. And no matter what team T.O. went to, he was productive. Even in that really shitty season in Cincinnati, T.O. was fantastic. So I think you got to put T.O. in there. And I'm fine with putting Moss at 3 for me. Who would be your 3rd?
3 is a toss-up. I mean, I think T.O. is definitely 3. Like 4 and 5 is a toss-up.
Yeah.
Like I want to put Calvin Johnson in my top 5.
I do
I
too. I think,
want to, but like I don't know if he was so good.
here's the thing. If we switch the name to top 3 most dominant receivers, Calvin Johnson's number
Calvin
1.
Johnson, but like, do I put him as all time because he played in such a short increment?
Yeah, he
I
only
mean,
played,
Barry
what, 9
Sanders.
seasons?
Yeah, Barry Sanders played short too, but like he's still
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, Megatron is easily. If the name was top 3 most dominant receivers, Calvin Johnson would be number 1 for me.
Like,
Because there was nothing you could do to stop. Matt Stafford was throwing the ball in triple coverage, and Megatron was pulling it down.
like if I put Moss at 2, like do I put Larry Fitz? Like he's just great, consistent. Like do I
He's
want
the
to
most
say like
consistent receiver in NFL history, I
yeah,
think.
do I want to put him in my top 5? I'm gonna go.
One
T.O.
person you got to think about too, Antonio Brown, man. He had that string of amazing seasons.
If he didn't go off the deep end, he would be in my top 5.
Yeah.
If he didn't waste away 3 seasons, he would be in my top 5.
I think if we were to do top 5, I would definitely say my 4th would probably have to be Megatron out of respect.
Oh, should I? It was a top 3, bottom 3, and I did 5.
It was top 3, but you mentioned 4 and 5, so I just wanted to throw out.
Yeah.
Megatron would be there, and I think out of respect, because I don't want to disrespect him too. He's never my favorite receiver, but I'd have to put Larry Fitz in there just because he was so amazing for so many seasons. The man had more tackles than drops, and he's an offensive player.
Yeah. I'm just pulling up like some stats right now. Like Marvin Harrison's up there. Like yeah, like that's my personal list. Like Larry, it's gonna be Larry.
Larry at 4 or 5?
Larry's gonna be at 5.
Who's your 4th again?
I'm gonna put just out of just pure bias, Calvin Johnson.
Okay.
But
so the only ones we had different were our 2 and 3s, and we just have them reversed.
Yeah, like Marvin Harrison makes a good case. Chris Carter, but like Larry has just been so on the dollar.
Every season, you can always count on it. Even when he was older, man, he wasn't the fastest guy, but he found ways to get open.
He still got more yards, man. Like I feel disrespectful, like not putting Larry there.
That's exactly how I felt.
He would be 6 or 6. He would be 5, 6, or 7. But like for right now and this very moment, that's my list.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good.
What about your bottom 3 topic?
Oh yeah, Caleb, you could do right now
All right.
because you don't know the legends.
I got
you
you.
could do
I
top
got a
three,
top
so-
3 wide receivers of all time.
From 2019 to now.
And you
Your
know
top
what?
3 receivers.
And you know what? I think we're the hell?
What the?
Siri's
He was
trying to
gonna
help me
educate
out.
you.
Siri's trying to help me out. I think we're blinded. I think we're looking only at the NFL. All right. I think we're not looking at of all time. You know. I think we're not looking at. I think number 3 of all time. That's hard. Let me see. I'm gonna go with Captain America. All right, number 3, Captain America. Put him on the slot route. He will run through anybody. Okay, he is a great man, and I believe he's got that super serum.
He's got a lot of grit.
He's got a lot of power.
Motor.
He can run. He's fast as hell, and that's where my number 2 comes in. The Black Panther himself. That I think he's more agile than Captain America. I think he can jump higher. I think he can moss someone over their shoulder. I think he can pull that ball in. Number 1 is not who you're thinking it is. All right, number 1 is actually a wild card. Number 1 is Barney the dinosaur. Now here's the reason why I say Barney the dinosaur. He's a little big, but he's scary. All right, he can run through any receiver. If you're running at Barney, he's like Derrick Henry. He'll just truck right through you. He runs over you. He's an unmovable force. And that's my top 3 wide receivers of all time.
Avengers fan watches football.
I did some. All right, bottom 3. What's your bottom 3 topic, Mr. Cameron?
I will do. Oh God, that's just so difficult. It's hard to figure this out.
It's hard to pick a bottom 3 unless it's quarterbacks because there's so many.
Bottom. All right. Well, here, because this is technically bottom. Top 3 most overrated players. You can be now or all time.
Oh, it's overrated players.
Yes, like that. That's like a bottom
Okay.
of it. Like who you think's overrated.
Okay.
Wow, my list is gonna be crazy.
Let's hear yours first.
All right, number 1.
What?
This is right now because obviously I don't have the knowledge. I think number 1's Jalen Ramsey.
What?
Wow.
I think Jalen Ramsey is overhyped
What?
and overrated.
Wow.
What?
I think
That's
Jalen Ramsey is
tough
overhyped.
talk.
Jalen Ramsey's overrated?
The
I
best
think Jalen
corner in the
Ramsey
league.
Is
Is
overrated.
he not the best corner in the league? Who is?
Let me think about that. Number 2.
I just need.
I just think he's overrated. I think from what we've seen in the playoffs last year, I think he gave up way too many big plays from most of the games. I think Bengals especially, that Super Bowl game. I just think he's way overhyped.
I think he only got really burned twice in that game.
Which
And one of them,
honestly is still one too many. I still think is
Because the T. Higgins one shouldn't have even counted. I mean, that was a face mask.
That's true.
I think he got burned on in the first quarter by Jamar with the one-handed catch, and then he got burned at the end of the game because he fell down. But Burrow wasn't even able to get in the ball. Jalen Ramsey, most overrated player.
I wouldn't even. All right. I would say my top 3 is very interchangeable. I don't really think I have a top 3 most over. I'd say they're all very like, kind of. I wouldn't say like Jalen Ramsey's the most overrated player in the NFL. I'd say like they're all like kind of very interchangeable. I would say for me. So like even though I said Ramsey I said number 1. I think it's very interchangeable. Number 2, overrated player. Who else do I think is overrated? I know last year I said Derrick Henry, but that was before his season. Get your ass up, Austin! I said that was last year. All right, not now.
Wow.
I said that was last year.
What?
That was last year. All right, I said not now. I said that was
You
last
thought
year.
He was overrated?
Yes, last year I thought he was very overrated. I thought it was very overrated last year.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
Right, who's your...
I would say Baker. I thought Baker was also very overrated. The beginning of last year too pissed me off by the fact of I saw him in a commercial every 5 seconds. The announcers hyped him up like he was the best player in the NFL every time I watched a Browns game. That pissed me off. I hated it so much. Even though he was not good. He was overrated. And that pissed me off, okay? So Baker was up there. I don't even know if I have like a solidified top 3. I think I just have a couple players that I think are just overrated, you know?
What about you, Cameron?
So, mine's a little controversial.
Okay.
But I have 1 player from right now, and I have 2 legends.
Okay.
My 1 player from right now, Jamal Adams.
I can see that. I think a lot of people would actually agree with
A lot of people would agree that people say that he's better than he actually is. A lot of haters on him too, though. So like, it's not really a big thing. But I'm gonna get shit on for this one.
Oh goodness.
Bo Jackson.
Okay, I might not know NFL people, but I know Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson.
Why is he overrated?
Let me pull up his, like, realistically, he was dominant when he played, but he played in such a short increment.
Okay.
Like, let me pull up Bo Jackson NFL.
I respect the explanation. I just
Like, everybody talks to him like he is the god amongst running backs.
okay.
Like, I've never seen anybody talk bad. He played 1, 2, 3. Was it 4 years he played? 4 years. Yeah. That's what ESPN's telling me. Or Pro Football Reference. He played 4 seasons. His career, he had almost 3,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. Tell me he's better than Barry Sanders. Tell me he's better than Jim Brown. Tell me he's better than Ladainian Tomlinson.
Okay. I actually wasn't feeling it at first, but okay, I can respect that.
Another one that I'm probably gonna get shit on for, Troy Aikman.
I actually agree with you
I think he's heavily overrated.
because he had some of the best supporting casts in history.
Like, I don't even think his stats were that good. Let's see. Let's pull them up. Football Reference. Like, all right, 61% completion percentage. 165 touchdowns to 141 interceptions.
That's not good.
And 32,000 yards. 32,942 yards.
That's okay.
Like 32942. Like I just don't see it.
Okay.
That's just me. He had one really good season, from what I could see.
Mhm.
He never threw more than 23 touchdowns. His average is probably 13 touchdowns.
Okay.
Those are.
I,
I will
I,
look
I
at that.
respect those, man. I respect those.
That is my hottest take.
My three, I don't think are too controversial. Um, one of them I would have to say is Christian McCaffrey. I
Okay.
think he's very overrated. I mean, the dude barely plays. And I know when he's healthy, he's really good, but I definitely think he's one of the most overrated players in the NFL. This one would probably get me shit. Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he's like extremely overrated, but here's the
Ooh.
thing about Mahomes. This man is talked about like he is the number one quarterback every single season. He's considered the number one quarterback or number two quarterback. I genuinely do not. I think Aaron Rodgers is better than him. I think Tom Brady's better than him. I think there's a big battle between him and Joe Burrow because when you look at it and you look at them side to side, Mahomes has had one of the greatest supporting casts ever. He had Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. He had, a pretty solid offensive line aside from the Super Bowl when all of his starters had to get switched out. He had Andy Reid as his coach. Like, I'm not knocking him. I think Mahomes is easily top five. I think him and Burrow are close. He's 0-2 against Burrow in his career. And I think Josh Allen's right there with him too. So I don't think he's not like extremely overrated, but I don't think he deserves like the number one, number two spot. I think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than him, and I still think Tom Brady is better than Patrick Mahomes. I think Mahomes has some of the worst footwork I've ever seen, and I hate the constant circus passes he makes. And then I remember like last season, he did a no look pass, and his receiver didn't even know it was coming. So his receiver kind of threw up his hands at the last second, and it bounced off, and it was an interception. And people were like, "Those weren't Mahomes' fault." And I was like, his receiver didn't even know the ball was coming to him because Mahomes wanted to no look it. And then in training camp, he's practicing behind the back passes. Like, I think Mahomes is just slightly overrated. Although I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer, and I think he's easily a top five quarterback.
I'm such a fan of his circus plays because we never seen that before.
I get it, but I think
He
when
is-
it costs
he
his
is-
team, he doesn't get blamed enough for it.
I wouldn't say there was one like specific moment last year where like he made a pass like that and he's like, "Oh, well, you just cost us the game." Like, I can't
mean,
recall a single moment like that.
I just don't think he gets blamed enough for it. He threw like what? I think he threw like 15 interceptions
Some of those
last year.
interceptions were off on his receivers.
And
Yeah,
some of them were, I know, I saw a couple that went straight to Tyreek and went off his hands.
yeah.
But some of them were from him trying to be too fancy, and his receivers didn't know they were coming.
I
And I think Mahomes is a bit of a question mark in the big games.
yeah, I
I think
completely get you there.
he crumbled last season against Burrow in the playoffs. When the Cincinnati got on that roll, I read a stat in the first half. Mahomes was like 10 for 10 on throws, like beyond 15 yards or something. And the second half, after the Bengals started coming back, he was 1 for 11.
Yeah.
And that included overtime. And the Super Bowl against Jimmy G, the only reason I think he won that Super Bowl is Jimmy G missed a wide open man. And he had 2 costly interceptions that one too. So I just think he's a little overrated. And my next pick, I'm not trying to be disrespectful with this, but this is a hot take, an extreme hot take. I know this guy's a made man. He's one of the greatest of all time, but I had to throw a legend in there because Cameron did as well. I think Michael Irvin's a little overrated. I say this because the man broke so many PED violations. And this is something I caught on to after Terrell Owens talked about it. Terrell Owens never got busted for using PEDs. Ever. Michael Irvin was busted week in and week out. He was drugged up in every game. So I just think a lot of it to me is tainted by the fact that he was using performance enhancement drugs. I know he's one of the greatest of all time. I think he's easily a top 15 receiver ever. But people talk about Michael Irvin like he is a top 5 candidate, and I don't think he deserves it. I mean, we did our top 5 or our top 5s earlier, and I don't think he deserves it because a lot of it is tainted by performance enhancing drugs. Like Tio said, Tio never used any of those, and people consider Michael Irvin better than Tio, and I don't think that's fair.
Oh,
But that's
no.
my biggest hot take is that I think Michael Irvin's overrated.
Michael Irvin's. No, that wouldn't do. I thought you were gonna say Michael Vick. If
Michael Vick?
we were doing top 5, I would say Michael Vick. Michael Vick would be in that.
You think Vic's a top 5 quarterback?
No. Of like my top like 5 most overrated players.
Oh, I could
No.
see that. I loved Michael Vick though.
Michael Vick was electric, but you tell me like I'm gonna use the same analogy. Tell me he's better than. What has he done that Lamar hasn't?
Exactly. No, I was gonna bring that same comparison. I would take Lamar over Michael Vick.
Yeah, like Michael Vick,
I
phenomenal,
will say I think
electric.
Vick throws a better ball than Lamar.
Lefty.
Because I think Michael Vick's
I love lefty
passing
balls.
ability was very underrated.
Mm-hmm.
When he got with Andy Reid in Philly, I mean, he completely switched his mechanics. He was able to. He was accurate. I know he had a couple really bad years, but yeah, I would definitely say Lamar's already had a better career than Vick.
Like I love
Vick never won an MVP, right?
No. Vick played as soon as the dogfighting thing. He kind of.
Yeah. I think that's another candidate though for overrated. Maybe not top 3 most overrated of all time, but Lamar, after the last season that he had, I think that's a conversation you can
I
have.
want to put it all. I want to put all the blame on him last year. I think this year will be a good year to prove it.
I don't think that I'm just saying, like, I think you open the door for that conversation after the kind of year he had.
Oh, you opened the door
Pro
for that.
Bowl,
Yeah.
16 touchdowns and 13 picks.
Yeah. It's somebody in the future that if they have a bad year this year is also probably going to be like everybody. Derek Carr.
You think he's overrated?
I think this year will be the year to like say, hey,
Yes.
Derek, what are you doing? I mean, I know we
can
just
agree
got that
with that.
extension, but like, there's every year there's the like 8-game stretch. You're like, okay, he's not awful.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next 8, he's playing like I call him like Tom Brady, but he plays more like a bitch.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that could be an interesting final thing we could talk about real quick because it's just a really quick topic. Which quarterbacks do you think are on the hot seat this year? This is their year to perform. If they don't, you gotta ask serious questions.
Daniel Jones.
Carr.
I agree with the Daniel Jones. I was gonna mention that.
Do you think Derek Carr's on the hot seat?
I
don't
think
think he's on the. I don't think he's on the hot seat, but I think if he has a bad year with an actual true number 1, like you got to be like.
He's got Devontae, Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can see that.
I would say Sam Darnold, but we don't even know who's starting in Carolina.
I have an interesting one. I say Deshaun Watson. If he plays. He just got paid the biggest contract in NFL history. If he plays like ass this year, Cleveland's going to be like, what did we just do?
Yeah. Well, I still think he's going to play it next year anyway.
Yeah.
So
they're locked into him for the next 4 years anyway.
Yeah.
They can't replace him with the money they spent on him.
What do you guys think about Aaron Rodgers?
I don't think he's in.
I don't think he's on the hot seat.
The Packers are in the hot seat.
I just think, it's either that or he's going to retire. Like, I don't think he's on a hot seat. I think he'll retire in Green Bay.
He'll retire as a Packer, but like,
I think he'll retire
it's
as
more
a Packer,
of a
but
how much shit can he deal with?
Yeah. When is he going to retire?
He did just lose all of his weapons.
Like, how much more of Green Bay's ineptitude can he deal with?
And it's kind of funny if you think about it. This time last year, we were thinking about will Aaron Rodgers stay in Green Bay?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny if you think about it because we were like, oh, is he going to leave? Is he going to stay? And he ended up staying and winning MVP. So now it's just the fact of how much shit can he take?
Yeah.
How much more can he take?
Here's another quarterback I think is an interesting topic. This is a guy this year. I'm going to be watching more of him this year than I have in any other year solely because it's his 3rd year and he's got everything he needs to make it work. Tua.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him in. I think this is Tua's prove it year.
Yes.
I don't think he's gonna be in the hot seat getting like removed already. But I think this is gonna be the year like before they start looking at options. Like if they take a quarterback in the second round, I don't think they'll go first round with him just next year. They'll be like,
Because-
oh, this guy's
yeah.
good in the third round. We'll take him just in case.
To be fair, Tua is like I think he gets hated on too much because when you look at his stats, he's not that bad. And if you look at his stats this past year compared to the year before, he made an improvement. And when you look at the Dolphins' record, Tua was injured. So if he started the full season, there's a very good chance they could have been better than the Patriots.
Oh,
And they could have got the wild card round.
I have one more quarterback as well.
One more quarterback? Let's hear it.
Ryan Tannehill.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
100%.
I agree with that
That
wholeheartedly.
was when that just
100%.
came up after you brought up the Dolphins.
100%. You know, and there's talks that Jimmy G might go to the Titans as well. There's a lot of talk for Jimmy G going a bunch of different places.
Jimmy G is
one of them.
Such a like a great like prospect of a quarterback where you just be like you can go anywhere and he'll perform.
If Jimmy
Literally.
G goes to the Titans, would that change the Titans situation, do you think?
Yes, because I think he's an improvement over Tannehill.
He's an improvement over Tannehill, but like I don't know if it would change it. Like they are not a Super Bowl team.
I think that if they get Jimmy G over Ryan Tannehill, I think that adds another 1 or 2 wins on their record.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. Because, again, Jimmy is a winner. So, they don't have a clear number 1 receiver there. But, and isn't that kind of crazy to think about? Last year, the Titans had A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. And people were talking about them like they were going to be the best receiving core in the NFL. Now they don't have either. So, but I still think what would really help Jimmy G's stock and his, like, how people would view him as a player, if he goes to the Giants and he makes them competitive, I think people see Jimmy G in an entirely different light.
Jimmy G on the Giants is like a dream. Like I would love to see that.
I would love to see what he could do because the Giants have weapons. They had a really good offseason, too.
They have
They
weapons.
have
They have an
Kadarius
offensive line.
Toney, Kenny Galladay. I can't remember who their tight end is there. 'cause they got rid of
Sterling
everything.
Shepard. I don't know who their tight end is. But didn't O.J. Howard sign with the Bills?
I think he did.
That's another good tight end for the Bills. But
Here's another
Any other
quarterback I think is on the hot seat. And I think it's because he just got traded. Everyone's looking, and I think this the city's looking at him to be their saving grace from the current quarterback they have, Baker Mayfield. If
true.
Carolina just got Baker, and Baker ends up being absolutely ass and ends up being quarterback 2 behind Sam Darnold, that will be, first off, I think that would be hilarious. Second off, it'd be awful for Carolina. And
Yeah, Baker Mayfield's seat is on fucking fire right now.
Baker's seat and Matt Rule's seat is on
Yeah.
fire. Yeah.
Matt Rule, I think if they
If
don't get
Baker-
at least 8 wins, Matt
If
Rule
Baker
gets fired.
doesn't start and like win them games, I think.
Well, here's the thing too. I'd say because his stock was already down because after Cleveland got Deshaun, nobody was lining up to get Baker. Nobody made any attempt to get Baker. He literally said he wanted to go to the Colts, and the Colts traded for Matt Ryan like 3 days after that. So if he doesn't perform this year, and he's only on a 1-year deal, like he's fucked. Like
Yeah.
I mean, what's he gonna do after that? So this is
Is
Baker's ultimate.
Baker's
prove
on a
year.
1-year deal?
This is
It's
Baker's
the
last year.
deal. Yeah.
Really? If Baker,
It was a
yeah,
good deal.
if he doesn't perform this year, he might be an XFL football player. he might.
He'll be
might,
a good backup.
Yeah, I think he's a solid backup to have.
Yeah, his seat. He's definitely on a very hot seat right now. Yeah, and especially if he starts behind if he's behind Sam Darnold in the depth chart, it'd be.
I don't think this is considered a hot seat, but I think people are gonna ask a lot of questions if Trevor Lawrence doesn't have a good year this year.
I think it's hard to say because this is his second year and he's coming off his rookie year. I think it's hard to say.
After Jacksonville last year, he's got 3 years to prove it. Like I
Yeah.
can't.
I just think
I'd say
when
I'd
you
give him
look at
another
a lot
year.
of these quarterbacks that came out in drafts recently. Joe Burrow's first year, he was solid. It was really good. Second year, he took a team to the Super Bowl. I know Jacksonville's not in the same position, but you look at Tua. Tua had improvements in his first year to his second year. I think if Trevor Lawrence doesn't make a really good improvement, because I know it was a shit show But he had some ugly passes last year too. He had like what 10 touchdowns and 17 picks.
Yeah, but like that last year stunted his development so bad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like you don't realize how much that means to
Urban Meyer, as much as I love Urban Meyer, was awful.
You
I
don't
can't
realize
say I love Urban Meyer anymore.
I'll say I
how
love
much
Urban
that
Meyer, but
hurts.
he was awful as an NFL coach. And yeah, it really stung. And I'd say if we're talking about Trevor Lawrence and second-year quarterbacks, I definitely think we need to include Justin Fields in that conversation as well.
I disagree with the Justin Fields one because his situation I think is worse than Trevor Lawrence's. Trevor's got some receivers, like he's got Christian Kirk. Didn't they just sign? Or they still have Marvin Jones, right?
Yeah, Marvin Jones, Laviska
Shenault, and
Is
Travis
DJ Chark?
Etienne's coming off.
Is DJ Chark still there? or
DJ
did he
Chark got
trade?
traded.
DJ Chark.
Okay, he's
DJ Chark
traded.
is on the Detroit now. Is on Detroit now.
Yeah, which is a great boost for Detroit, by the way.
Boost. He's a
And,
Galladay replacement. He's the Galladay replacement there.
Justin Fields has Darnell Mooney, N'Keal Harry, and
Yeah.
Cole Kmet, I guess if you want to count him, but he hasn't done shit yet. So I think Fields is in a world. I think if Fields doesn't have strides by year 3, like if the Bears go out this offseason and they get a lot of acquisitions for Justin Fields, they give him a true number 1 receiver, a solid defense, and he doesn't show any development, then I think year 3 is when you start questioning Justin Fields.
Right.
I can't. I don't like questioning quarterbacks till year 3 or 4.
Mhm.
Like Daniel Jones is in what 3 or 4 right now.
He's in 4,
He's in 4.
I believe.
Daniel Jones, I think, is in probably one of the hottest seats.
Oh my god.
Besides Baker, I think he's probably in one of the hottest seats.
Here's the thing, though. After the backups came in last year for the Giants, Daniel Jones looked like fucking god. Because
Gabbert.
Yeah, Mike Glennon was awful. Who else they have started? Blaine Gabbert started game too?
Yeah.
They had someone else, Jake
Blaine
Fromm, the
Gabbert.
rookie quarterback they drafted that year. That's the game where they didn't even trust him to throw the ball. They ran 2 quarterback sneaks in the row.
I'm an avid Mike Glennon supporter, so you know.
Yeah.
Mike
That's
Glennon.
why 12 should be retired.
Mike Glennon. That was probably my favorite
They
offseason
retired
meme.
12 in Tampa Bay, and Brady thinks it's because of him, but it's because of Mike Glennon when he was there.
Was it Mike Levin 12 or was he? Yeah, wasn't he 12?
Was he 12 or was he 8?
Let me see.
Mike
He
Glennon.
was. Let me see.
I
Literally,
do think, though, while we're on the topic of quarterbacks, I think the most interesting division of quarterbacks is the AFC East.
Was he on the?
AFC East has a lot of young quarterbacks, man. You got Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Tua, and Josh Allen.
yeah. I'm
was
excited to
8.
see
He was 8.
how Zach Wilson does too. With he got a lot more weapons on his team. I want to
Does
see
he?
Zach Wilson do good. Yeah, he got Garrett.
Jets,
he got Garrett
they
Wilson.
got Garrett Wilson.
Which Garrett
But
Wilson's
they
really
still.
good.
Do they still have Corey Davis?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like Corey Davis, and then Elijah Moore, I think, he actually had a solid season last
Oh,
year.
Underrated.
You guys want to hear
year.
something funny? I kind of forgot this happened. Last year, I was at a Meijer, and this was after the Buckeyes game, and Garrett Wilson played for the Buckeyes. I ran into Garrett Wilson's uncle
That's cool.
at a
Yeah.
Meijer. It's because I was wearing my Buckeye hoodie, I think, and he was in one of those chairs at Meijer, and he asked me to help get him some orange juice that was on a top shelf. So I helped him. He was like, "Those Buckeyes played really well yesterday." I'm like, "Yeah, they did really well." He's like, "Yeah, my nephew Garrett, he had a lot of receiving yards. He did really well yesterday." I was like, "Wait, your nephew's?"
You were like, Garrett?
I was like, "Your nephew's Garrett Wilson?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, Garrett. He's been trying his hardest. He wasn't the best in high school, but I think ever since he got recruited to Ohio State, he's been doing really well." I was like, "Your nephew's Garrett Wilson?" I was like,
You know
"That's
what else is
crazy."
interesting, though, about the Jets, when you bring it up like that? They also got Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Sauce Gardner's
he's
stats in
Brees
college
Hall,
is
too?
insane.
huh?
Brees Hall too. That running back.
Yeah. No, Sauce Gardner, I mean, granted, they didn't play the toughest competition. UC did, when you consider, like, receiving talent. But I think he allowed, 0 touchdowns in college?
He had insane stats in college.
But he wasn't playing man. I know he played a lot of zone, and he had a lot of help. But still, that is fantastic. I want Sauce Gardner to be insane.
Against Alabama, he played great.
He did play.
That proved
that
it.
was the
That
game that
proved
proved
it.
to me that he is a true
He's a
NFL
good-
corner.
Yeah.
He was fantastic against Alabama.
He
By the way,
did not
much
allow
love to
a
UC.
single touchdown catch in more than 1,000 snaps he played for the Bearcats.
Yeah. He was great. I think he's going to be a great talent. He's going to be a good, like, Darrell Revis, like, kind of looking player.
One player that I think might be a bust, but I'm really interested and I really want to do good is Desmond Ridder. I think he's going to have a chance to start with the way the Falcons are. And I know he doesn't really have many weapons, but I mean, he's got, Drake London and Kyle Pitts. But
That's it.
I think he's going to get a chance against Marcus Mariota. I think he may not do good. He was okay against Alabama. He wasn't great. But I love him for everything he did for UC, man. I want him to do great.
Yeah. I think we're getting to our final thoughts.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
kind of turned that top 3, bottom 3 to another half-hour segment, which was pretty nice. So it's always good banging up time. Cameron, do you have any last-second thoughts?
No, I got nothing, I don't think. I'll try and think of something come back to me.
All right. Austin, do you have any last-second thoughts?
Joe Burrow for MVP.
Joe Burrow
Same one
MVP.
every week.
Same one every week.
Every week. Sauce Gardner for Rookie of the Year. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Ooh, that's a good thing to talk about next week. Actually, I do have a thought before I leave. I'm not going to be here next week. It will be just Austin and Cameron, and they're going to be bringing on a special guest. I think B-Rad is going to be our special guest. I don't think I've asked him yet, actually, so it might not be, but I think I did, or I don't remember if I asked him or not.
If worst comes to worst, we can always do a throwback podcast. Just me
Yeah.
and Cam.
Yeah, so
like
there
the old
there
days.
might be a guest. So I won't be here next week because I'm going to Florida. I'm going to be in Florida, but I will be here the week after, and we'll be able to talk about some stuff that happened. We were going to talk about our fantasy teams, but we didn't get to that today.
We can do that next week.
That's a good
'cause-
topic for next week because B-Rad's also in the fantasy.
Yeah.
He's in the fantasy league, so that'll be a good topic. But that's all I really have to say. Subscribe to our Spotify and go listen to this podcast again on Spotify. Go follow our TikTok because our TikTok, we post every single day on it. I post every single day on it. Austin and Cameron have been slacking, but I post every
My
single
video
day.
got
I made a TikTok.
deleted. My video got deleted.
Your video got deleted too?
Wait, the one where
I don't know what
top 4 players
happened.
got the dog in them?
No. I made another one, but like it never like uploaded. It was weird.
Oh.
Oh.
I made like a podcast video to be like, go check out our podcast, but like
Oh,
didn't
this
work.
never, yeah.
yeah. it never went through.
But yeah, follow our TikTok. I have a link tree now in the description of this video. The link tree has all of our links to all of our Twitters if you want to follow us on Twitter. It also has a link to our TikTok and our Spotify, so go check that out as well. Cameron, he's told us to come back to you. Cameron, do you now have any special thoughts? Last thoughts. He's in VR right now. What is he doing in VR? He looks like he's passed out on VR. Austin is lifting weights. What is going on?
He did something random, so I just reached for something I had near me.
Well, guys, you guys enjoyed this podcast. Leave a like. Share it to your friends.
I love you, Josh Allen.
I'll see you guys. I'll see you
Trubisky
guys.
MVP.
Trubisky. You say MVP or MVP?
MVP.
MVP, Nickelodeon Valley player.
Also, shout out to my
Two-time.
beautiful girlfriend.
Oh, same. Love you, Mara.
Shout out to
Love you, Kara. You're
my
the best.
beautiful.
We love you, Josh Allen.
Shout out to my brothers
Have you se-
and my dad.
Have you seen that clip of
Yeah,
Josh Allen?
your girlfriend's behind you, Caleb. Look.
Oh, very funny. I know. Actually shout out to my brothers and my dad. They said they wanted to be a guest on the podcast, so maybe in the distant future that'd be
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of
awesome.
funny to have them next to me, have them
You know
talk.
what me and you gotta do, Cam? We gotta get our girlfriends on too.
Yes, that would be
Be
great.
like
That'd be great.
a family podcast.
Ask-
Do one of those TikTok things where if we have them like show them players, have them guess the players' names. That'd be fun.
I-
But,
I was gonna do that. I was say like her top 5 quarterbacks. She's like, I don't know anybody. Like, oh,
All right. Well,
That's awesome.
I'll see you guys later. Peace out, everyone.
ciao for
See you
now.
guys. Woo!
That was great. That was
That's a
great.
good
That was
podcast.
awesome.